If you've just got the Samsung Galaxy A26, congratulations, this is a good phone, but did you know that you could turn this into an absolute beast? And when you learn how to use some of these hidden features here on this phone and you show them to your iPhone friends, they might be like, because you just can't do some of the stuff that this phone could do on an iPhone. So I'm going to show you 17 tips that will take your Galaxy A26 from a decent phone to an incredible phone. And it actually amazes me how many Samsung owners don't know about some of this stuff. But you're here, you're watching this, so now you are going to know. And if you follow along and apply these tips, tricks, and hidden features, by the end of this video, you will unlock your phone's maximum performance. So join me and together we can rule the Galaxy. So this first chapter of this video is going to be all about speeding up the performance of your phone, because this is definitely not a flagship, but with these tricks you can make it feel more like a flagship. And there's a really well hidden setting that you could change that instantly doubles the speed of the phone, and there's an even more well hidden Wi-Fi tool that can help you improve your Wi-Fi speeds significantly. We'll come back to those, but first, let's do this. Go to Settings, Device Care. Now here we're going to tap on the memory section, and what this does is it will check the memory on your phone, and if there is any wasted space on your phone, it will prompt you to clean them up. So right now I've got 1.5 GB of pointless information on this phone, and you can have a look exactly what those things are. If any of this stuff you want to keep, you can literally just untick the tick box next to that app and then hit clean now. So now you know how to optimize the memory on your phone. Okay, so I'm not going to go too much in depth with the customization of the phone. We will do a little bit though, so stick around for that. But right now there is one tool that I recommend you add to your home screen, and it is this. If you hold your finger down on an empty part of the screen and go to widgets at the bottom, you have all of the available widgets right here. The one we're looking for is within the device care section, and you can add any of these. So these are widgets that will allow you to optimize your phone more frequently and without having to jump into all of the settings that I just showed you. I personally like this one, so I'm just going to add it here just for demo purposes. I normally have this on the second screen. So this allows you to monitor how your RAM is doing. So there's 8 gigs of RAM on this phone, and right now 3.8 of that RAM is being used. And you can also keep an eye on the storage, and if at any time the RAM is running out, you can literally just tap the optimize button right here, and that will quickly close down any backgrounding processes that will ultimately speed up your phone whenever you need that extra speed. Tip number 3, let's jump back into settings. Once again, we're going to device care. We're going to tap on memory again, and you can see straight away it's already found a bunch of stuff that can further optimize the phone. That's why the widget on the home screen is so important. But what I want to show you here is this. If you scroll down a little bit to the bottom of the page, you'll see RAM Plus. If you tap this, by default, it's set to 4 gigs. Now, if you extend this to 8 gigs, this will use your ROM, the memory on your phone, as virtual RAM. And when you have more RAM, you can have more things open in the background on your phone, which means backgrounding and multitasking will be faster. Also, that additional RAM can help when gaming. So if you are a gamer, then I'd highly recommend you do this. And if you do find that you're running out of space on your phone, the actual memory, you can always dial this back at a later date. But if you've got a fresh phone, I highly recommend you maximize the RAM. All right, here's another optimization trick. Jump back into the settings. We're going back to device care again. This time we're not going to tap on the memory section, we're going to tap on the battery section right here at the top, and where it says battery protection, if you tap here you can change this to adaptive. So if you're the type of person who likes to charge your phone overnight, what this will do is it will charge it to 80% at the regular speed, and then it will slow right down, and it will time when to fully charge it to 100% based off of your sleeping patterns. So it will take a while to figure this out, but once it does, this charging method is much better for the longevity of your battery. So nothing's going to slow you down more than a dead battery. So I do recommend you switch this to adaptive. Okay, here's another performance setting you should change on day one. If you jump into your settings menu, once again, we're going to jump into the device care. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see auto optimization. Tap on that. Now what this does is occasionally it will reboot your phone for you if it feels the processes are getting a bit too much. And it does it intelligently, so it's not just going to do it whilst you have the phone in your hands and you're on a phone call or something. It will figure out the best time to do this, and it will do it automatically if you switch this on. Restart when needed. So put simply, if you ever redline your phone and there's like 100 apps open and a bunch of them are running processes in the background, your phone will know when to shut down and start fresh. All right, so if you are a gamer and you've got your RAM turned up, here's another setting to change to get the maximum performance from your Galaxy A26. Go into your settings, scroll down until you see advanced features, scroll down again and you'll see game booster settings. And at the top, by default, this will be set to balance, which is okay, but why would you want balanced when you can have performance? Now, if there are some games that you play that don't need performance, you can actually go into customization for individual games and then set each profile up individually. That's entirely up to you. Something else that you can do as well is if you're playing games and you're charging at the same time, you can enable this setting here. So this actually bypasses the battery. So the phone will be powered directly from the power supply. And that way you're not redlining your battery and ultimately making the phone hotter, which could damage the battery life and also the processor. And also when your phone gets hotter due to the battery charging, that can affect the graphics performance and the performance of the processor. Okay, here's that trick that I mentioned in the intro that can literally make your phone feel twice as fast on day one. And coming from someone who uses a lot of different flagship phones, the speed of the user interface is probably one of the most noticeable differences. And doing this will bring this phone up much closer to those flagship speeds. So here's how you do it. Jump into your settings, scroll all the way to the bottom to About Phone. Here, go to the software information. And on this page, scroll down until you see the build number right here. Tap this 7 times. And then it will ask for your PIN for your phone. Hit OK here. And now you've unlocked the developer mode. Now, if you go back to the regular settings menu, at the bottom of this page here, you will see developer options. Jump into those and don't touch anything here. Just scroll until you see window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animated duration scale. These are all set to 1 by default. If you set them to 0.5, your phone will instantly feel twice as fast. So you still get these really nice animations and smooth motions when you switch between the different pages and things. And even when you load apps, they appear to boot up even faster. And that's because the animations are actually taking half the time. Okay, so you've made it through the first chapter of this video and I have some bonus tips for you guys. And these are kind of things that a lot of people overlook on day one. And if you do overlook some of this stuff, you might feel like this later on down the line. Because not doing these things can considerably slow down your device, affect your security, and prevent you from using some of the phone's best features. So here are 3 things that you should absolutely do on day one. Number 1, go to the Samsung store, go to the menu at the bottom, and check for updates. On day one, there will be a bunch of official Samsung apps which won't automatically update on day one, and it's these apps that can unlock a lot of Samsung's first-party features. So definitely check that. The second thing to do is go to the Google Play Store, hit your little icon, top right corner, and go to Manage Apps and Device. Here, do a scan for the available updates. And I guarantee you, if you've got a brand new phone, there's going to be a lot of these, and some of them will be official Google apps that are really important for security and also a bunch of the AI functionality on the phone. So definitely look here on day one. And the last quick thing to do is this: jump into your settings, scroll all the way to the bottom till you see software and update, and do a little scan to see if you do in fact have the latest update. And there's a reason why I left this one to the last when it comes to updates. It's because if the Play Store or the Galaxy Store is halfway through an update and you start this one, it could mess certain things up. So do this one last. All right, so this next chapter is all about customization. So the default approach to Samsung quick settings now is a swipe down from the top right corner gets you to your quick settings. A swipe down anywhere else brings up your notification pane. So if you swipe down your quick settings and hit the pen up here, you can customize the order of these quick settings. So you can actually move things around if you want to, just by dragging them around. But what I want to show you here is this, the actual quick settings themselves. So if you expand that, you can have a bigger quick settings window if you want. Hit edit. Now we can remove and add various things. And there's actually 3 things that I recommend you add on day one, and I'll explain why. So if you scroll across the bottom here, the first one to add is secure Wi-Fi. This is a tool that acts like a VPN when you're on a public hotspot. The second one to add is secure folder, and we'll come back to why that one's so important. And the third one to add is Dolby Atmos. Now, you probably noticed I scrolled past song search, and that's because there is in fact a better way to do this without having to come to the quick settings. I'm going to show you that in a moment as well. But before we leave, if you happen to be left-handed, if you go to panel settings here, you can actually swap the side of where to swipe down to the left side. So that's entirely up to you if you want to do that. And if you prefer the old Samsung style where it was all in one together, you can switch it to together if you want. So now when we swipe down, we have these additional quick settings, and with the Dolby Atmos feature, when you are watching movies and stuff like that, and it's content that has Dolby Atmos support, or if you just want to emulate the Dolby Atmos sound, you can toggle this on at any time. And a lot of people say it makes the speakers sound better, but I suggest you test it out for yourself and see what you think. Okay, one of the most useful tools on Samsung phones that a lot of people don't use to its full potential is the edge panel. So it's this faint line up here on the right side of the phone. If you swipe that out, you have the default edge panel set up. So I want to show you quickly how to customize this. So if you drag the edge panel out, you hit the pen at the bottom here, you can remove the apps from the edge panel and add your own custom ones. What I recommend you do is add apps that you don't necessarily need on the home screen every day, but you do use occasionally. So for example, let's say Samsung Find, the voice recorder, Galaxy Wear, Smart Things. So these are things that I don't necessarily need access to that often, but I have them right there at the edge panel when I do. Now here's the next step when it comes to the edge panel. If you swipe it out, very briefly, the settings icon pops up here in the bottom left corner and it disappears. So if you swipe it out, hit that settings button there, this brings you to the hidden panels page. And there is one of these which I highly recommend you add, and it is this one, the tools. Definitely look at the other ones here, but we're going to add the tools just for demo purposes. Now when I bring this out and I swipe again, I have a compass right here which does need calibrating, so you have to kind of wave the phone around for it to get its bearings correct. But check this out, if you hit the three dots up here, top corner, you have some other cool things. A tally counter, you've also got a torch, the surface level, which is really helpful. It looks like my desk is leaning a little bit to one side, just a little bit. And then there's also a ruler. So if you ever need to take a quick measurement of anything, you have a ruler right here on your edge panel. So definitely play around with this and set this up. And I've left a space here at the bottom for the next tip. So there are various ways to multitask on this phone. And one of the best ways is to split screen things. So having the edge panel actually gives you one of the easiest ways to do split screening. So if I bring this out and I drag the app onto the screen, I can choose what half of the screen I want it to be on. And if I want it to be in a floating window, I just drag it to the middle and let go. I'm just going to do a split screen very quickly. So there we go. We've got the Galaxy Wear app here at the bottom half of the screen. And then it's got my recent apps up here. What I can do now is I can take the voice recorder, drag that up here to the top. And now I've got this app pair. It's not the most useful app pair. I tend to have YouTube and Google Maps, so I can listen to podcasts whilst using Google Maps. That's particularly handy if you don't have YouTube Premium. Now check this out. If this is a split screen that you're going to use a lot, if you hit the three dots in the middle, you have a couple of options. So you can flip the sides by hitting the little arrows. And if you hit the star, this allows you to favorite this app pair. And you can add it to your home screen or to the edge panels. So I'm going to add it to the edge panels. Now when I swipe out the edge panel, the app pair that I just created is right there and can be recalled at any time without having to drag the apps on and all that kind of stuff. So you can set up a few of these if you wanted to, and you could add it to the home screen if you prefer. Okay, so this is a customization tip. Okay, so this next customization trick will make your Galaxy A26 look more like the £1,000 flagship phones from Samsung. And the way we're going to do this is by hiding this chin here at the bottom of the screen. So you have to think carefully about what kind of wallpaper you like, but my suggestion is this. If you hold your finger down on an empty part of the screen, go to wallpaper and style. Ideally what you want is a wallpaper that has a dark area at the bottom. So if you go to change wallpapers, there are various styles here that are preloaded on the phone. I have some of my own wallpapers here, so I'm going to try this one first and have a look. So there we go. That kind of disguises that bottom edge a little bit more. Another example of this would be to use Samsung's own featured color wallpaper. So if you tap this one, it's yellow by default, but once you set it up, you can go to colors at the bottom here and you can change it to whatever you want. So I'm going to change it to black. So we have a gray to black gradient. There we go. And now you can barely see the chin at the bottom of this screen. So you get the idea. And my go-to app for wallpapers is Pinterest. There's a bunch of cool artists on there and it's completely free. And if you like that Wolverine wallpaper that I just showed you, let me know and I'll send it to you. And there is a little bonus upside to using a darker wallpaper, and that is the fact that it uses less power on the phone as well. Okay, here's another customization tweak. This time it's going to be to do with the lock screen. So if you hold your finger down on an empty part of the screen, go to wallpaper and style. The lock screen's here on the left. If you tap that, here you have a bunch of customization tweaks that you can make. So the clock, first of all, if you tap that, you can increase the size, you can change the style and all that good stuff. And you can even make it much bigger if you want to. The next thing you can do here is add widgets. So if you tap where it says add widgets, you can add various widgets, of course.
You don't say.
Use the ones that would be most useful to you. For example, the optimize feature is here, so we can add that. This allows us to optimize the phone even from the lock screen without having to unlock it. And at the bottom, you can also customize the shortcuts. So by default, you have phone and camera. You could change this to phone and torch if that made more sense to you. And you can actually have a different wallpaper for the lock screen if you prefer. So just go to wallpapers up here if you want to change that. Okay, so remember how I said there's a better way to do the song search than adding it to your quick panels up here, which would take a few swipes to get to. Here's how you can do it. And this is really quite unique to Samsung phones and Google Pixel phones. See the Google search bar right here? If you hold your finger down on this and go to settings, there is a bunch of customization options here. So you could get real creative with this and even dial in your own colors so it matches your wallpaper. Let's go with a dark purple. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Now, if you scroll down, you can change the transparency as well if you want it to kind of blend in a bit more. But it's this here, the shortcuts that I want to show you. If you tap the plus, there are various shortcuts to play with. And the one that I'm going to add is the song search. So whenever there's a song playing, I don't know what it's called, I can just tap song search and then Google will tell me exactly what song it is and even provide links to the song. There are other features you can add here like sports or finance. So definitely have a look at this and set your Google search bar up in a way that works best for you. Okay, so you've made it through the second chapter. Here's a few more bonus tips before we get into the final chapter, which is mainly going to be focused on security and privacy. So one of the things a lot of people don't know about the Samsung phones is that actually you can have colored folders for your apps. So right now I've got all of the Google apps here. This is default stuff. Just going to drag it over here. Now, if you hold your finger down on a folder, you can enlarge it. And now if you hit the little three dots in the bottom right corner and expand the folder, see this little black circle right here? Tap that. That opens up the options to add a color to your folder. A lot of people don't know you can do this. I'm going to add that dark purple to match my Google search bar. And you can actually use the pipette as well if you want to grab a color. Let's go with that. So now I've got the purple folder. There we go. When you're in here as well, you can change the transparency of that color if you want to, just using this slider right here. Something else that I really love about Samsung's phones is the widgets and the way in which you can add more widgets on the same spot. So for example, where the optimize widget is that we set up earlier, if you hold your finger down on that, you'll see the option pop up to create a stack. This will now give you all of the available options for this particular widget size. So if I want to add a battery widget, I can add that right there and I can swipe between those two. Hold your finger down again, go to edit stack, go to the end, hit the little plus, we could choose another one. And I'm going to add secure Wi-Fi because we're going to come back to that very shortly. Okay, so now I've got 4 widgets in a stack. I do recommend you keep these widgets further up the screen because if you have them lower down, when you try to swipe pages, you might end up swiping the stack and not the page. I learned that the hard way. So yeah, keep them on the top half of the screen if you can. Okay, now let's get into some of the more serious security stuff. So if we jump into the settings on the phone, scroll down to the security and privacy submenu. Now, if you see any suggestions here, I do highly recommend you take a look at them first. And of course, we're going to look at the app security. The app protection on this phone right now is switched off. I'm going to turn this on. This is, and I found out through the comments on my other videos, a feature that's not available in every region. So if you don't have this, then unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that. What this feature does is it will scan all of the apps that have been installed on your phone to check for any malware, any hackers, or any hacks and things like that, and it will tell you if any threats are found. So definitely make use of this tool. Okay, staying within the security and privacy settings, if you go to lost device protection, there is a feature here to switch off, which I recommend you switch on. Go to theft protection and go to offline device lock and turn this on. Another feature to switch on is the theft detection lock. So if, for example, you're walking down the street one day and someone rides past you on an electric bike and snatches your phone out of your hand, well then your phone will detect that this has happened and it will auto lock, so they can't go through all of your stuff, and actually they won't be able to power down your device, which means you can then get on the Samsung Find and figure out where it is and inform the authorities. Or you could track them down like Liam Neeson in Taken.
I will look for you. I will find you.
Although you probably shouldn't do that. Okay, again, we're going to stay within the security and privacy settings page. This time we're going to scroll down to where it says more security settings. And here we're going to go to secure folder. Remember, we added this to the quick settings menu earlier on, right here. Now we're actually going to set it up. So what you can do here is create a secure space on your device, which is accessible only by a unique PIN and by you specifically. Once you created this space, you can add private files and documents and things like that into the secure folder. So think of this as a safe space on your phone for your most confidential stuff. And because we set up the quick settings with the secure folder, now what we can do is if we tap the secure folder, that makes the secure folder visible in your settings. And then if you close the secure folder, that actually makes it invisible. So it's like it doesn't exist. And then the other thing you can do here is if you hold your finger down on it, that will jump straight into the settings for the secure folder. Okay, so remember how we set up the secure Wi-Fi quick settings. So if we bring that down and we go to the secure Wi-Fi, tap that to turn it on, hit continue here, we can actually set this up and set it up for free. You do get 1 gig of secure Wi-Fi for free every month. And I'd only recommend you use this when you connect to unknown Wi-Fi hotspots. And if you do want to subscribe to this and have an unlimited plan, you can do that. You just go to upgrade here and you get an idea of how much it would cost. And you can keep tabs on how much of the plan you've used. So when you want to use this in the future, you just bring down your quick settings, hold your finger down on this, and that will take you to the secure Wi-Fi. You can stop and start it whenever you want. Of course, you can also access your widget that you set up right here for the secure Wi-Fi, and that will do the same thing. And the great thing about the widget is it's also got that kind of life bar there, so you know when you're running out of secure Wi-Fi. So definitely make use of that because it is free. All right, thank you for making it this far into the video. And if you've watched any of my other tips and tricks videos, you'll know I always save some bonus tips and tricks for you guys who make it to the end. So here's some quick fire tips that I recommend you set up on day one. You go into your settings, safety and emergency SOS. This is a feature that if you push the power key 5 times, it will alert the emergency services that something's not right. And if you prefer to alert somebody else who may be more useful than the emergency services, you can add their phone number right here. Now, the next step to this is where it gets even better. If you hit the emergency sharing settings at the bottom here, what you can do is set up even more emergency contacts and even allow for pictures and audio recordings to be attached to that message. So if you ever get nervous walking home at night and you're worried that something might happen, this is something you should put in place on day one. And if showing this tip to you guys even helps just one person, then well, that's good enough for me. Okay, here's another bonus tip. This one is to do with camera. I haven't spoken much about it, but there are 2 settings that are off by default on day one that I recommend you switch on because it will help you take better photos. So open up the camera app, hit the little 4 dots here, hit the settings here, turn on shot suggestions. So this will use the Galaxy's camera AI to assist you with taking better photos and suggest ways to line up the photos even better than you could yourself. If you scroll down, there is a composition guide as well. So this is your spirit level and your grid. These are a great way to line up photos more intelligently as opposed to just pointing and shooting. And the last camera setting you need to know about this phone is it does have a 50 megapixel sensor, but it will use the 12 megapixel setup by default because that way it can collect more light and use a method called pixel binning to combine all of those pixels into 12 million pixels instead of 50.
50?
But if you do want to use 50, you just tap where it says 12M here at the top and that will switch it to 50 megapixels. I would only recommend using that in bright lighting situations, and also keep in mind if you do use that, it's going to use up more memory on the phone, but at least now you know how to do it. Okay, this is actually probably the first thing that I do on every phone that I set up. If you go into your settings, go to advanced features, go to side button, go to the double tap. So by default, this will be set to open the camera. So double tap opens camera, but for me personally, I like to have it open my wallet. So whether it's your Google wallet or your Samsung wallet, you can set that up. If it is the Google Wallet that you want to use, you have to use the All Apps option here and then choose the Google Wallet from the list. And it will only appear in the list if you've already set it up. So I haven't set it up yet, that's why it's not here. But you get the idea. That way, whenever you're in a shop, you need to pay for something, double tap here and your wallet opens up straight away. You can use your NFC connection to pay for stuff. All right, you might be still here because you're waiting for that hidden Wi-Fi tool that can help you speed up your internet. Here's how to get to that. This one is extremely well hidden and very few people know about it. Go into your settings, go to connections, go to Wi-Fi and hit the 3 dots in the top right corner. Here you will see intelligent Wi-Fi, tap that. And at the bottom here, you'll see intelligent Wi-Fi and the version of the software. If you tap this continuously, this opens up the connectivity labs at the bottom. Jump into the connectivity labs and this gives you a report of your Wi-Fi connection. And actually, if you scroll down, you'll find the home Wi-Fi inspection tool. So you can literally walk around your house scanning the Wi-Fi signals in each room. And this can help you detect where the best spots are for higher speeds, where the dead spots are, and it can also help you figure out where to better place your modem so that it covers the entire house. So it's definitely worth spending the time using the Wi-Fi inspection tool, going through the steps and figuring out the best way to set up your Wi-Fi for the fastest speeds. And there is one last bonus tip for you guys. Again, not that many people know about this. A few do. Check this out. If you ever get bored one day and you want to play a very simple mini game, there's actually one pre-installed on every single Android device, and this is how you get to it. Go to your software, go to About Phone, go to Software Information, where it says the Android version. Tap this, keep tapping it, and this opens up the mini game. Hold your finger down on the logo, and there we go. We're into the game. So this game, from what I understand, is you fly this spaceship around in space and you're searching for 7 different planets. When you find those planets, you got to land on them and plant a flag. Now, what I've found when I've been playing this is if you see any lines, like strong lines like that one, try and follow it, and then that normally leads to a planet. I have not successfully found all 7 planets. I found 2, and that's it. But anyway, that's how you find the hidden Android Easter egg. Let me know if you can complete that, if you know someone who has, because I've not heard of anyone finishing that game. But it is a good way to kill time, and because most of the screen is black when you're playing it, it's a very energy efficient game as well, so it's not going to burn through your battery. Okay, so this has been a very simple setup process for the Galaxy A26. If you want to dive deeper into all of the customization features on Samsung phones, I have made a dedicated video all about that. That's on screen right now. I've actually made so many of these tutorial guides, I've lost count. I'll put a few of the other popular ones on screen as well if you want to check those out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well then...
Okay.
Do it. Do it.
All right.
because I would greatly appreciate it. And if you just subscribed, I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.